I'm Michael White.
I am Pat
This is
LaFrida.
Beatrice Tossi di
Chris
Valminuta.
Boone, I'm Eddie from Jackson.
Kenny Callahan.
I'm Julie Yakshi.
I'm Michael LaMonaco.
And we are always hungry.
All LaFrida brand. That's, you know, there's only one kind of meat in this country, and that's Pat LaFrida brand.
I mean, Pat is the hamburger maestro for a lot of restaurants.
I told you I could do it, Pat! I told you I could do it!
I tell people all the time, I kid around with them, I say, listen, show me a great restaurant in New York and I'll show you a Pat LaFrida box in the kitchen.
The street was renamed after my grandfather, who started the company with his brother many, many years ago. They were such a staple here in the village. You cannot run this from anywhere other than being here. Problems arise all night long. It's a very complicated business. There are different cuts of meat, different sources of meat, different specs for different restaurants. So yes, you have to be here. You have to be hands-on. Like I said, from Sunday night until Friday afternoon, we don't close our doors. We're open 24.
Which restaurant?
These guys will process about 500 calls a night. Everything that they enter into the computer will come out into one of these pick sheets. We have the Shake Shack, D'Andrea, Arte, Harrison, and Irving Mill. Just called in the last 10 minutes. So this is for Da Savano, 15 portions of prime porterhouse, 2 inches, 40 pounds of chicken cutlets, a case of Cornish hens, calf's liver, and 3 beef eye rounds. So the butchers will get this label and they'll know what to cut and who it's for, and the spec will be listed there. What he's cutting is 50 pounds of beef short ribs, 1/3 of an inch for dinosaur barbecue. And these are a really thin cut, almost a Korean style. These skirt steaks will go in a Rosa Mexicana. What we'll do is trim the excess fat off the top, not much. You want some for the cooking. And then we'll cut them into 8-ounce portions across. This is a Colorado lamb loin. We're leaving basically this entire thing whole, and we're doing a cross cut. So out of here, we're gonna get 7 portions. We will cut this flank 7 times down. And as you see, we'll get a little narrower towards the bottom. This is the dangerous part of it. We have to actually pull this flap around the blade. And we just make sure we have enough equal wing on both sides. So what we have here is a T-bone lamb loin chop, which they will serve just like this, wrapped up, so you get the different flavors of this flank meat, which is a little chewier but full of flavor, and the filet mignon of the lamb from the T-bone, and the actual, like, New York strip steak of lamb from the top. We've always done this whole array of products. We've never did it in this volume before. We've grown over the last 15 to 20 years. And you want to be a one-stop shop for me. You don't want your restaurants to have to go someplace else. But it's very important, we only sell meat. We don't sell an array of things, so we are meat specialists. This is what we do. I'm here on the ground making sure it all happens at night, and my cousin and my dad are here all day to make sure, you know, the daytime operations happen. We are in the most prized room in our establishment. This is the dry age room. What we have in here are choice and prime grades of beef that we age for up to 6 weeks. If you keep the temperature cold, the environment dry, with wind circulation and dehumidifiers, the spoiling process will stop, but the meat will continue to break down. So the longer it's in here, the darker it gets, the drier it gets, the harder on the outside. What this will net is a very increased and dense beef flavor that you can only do with dry aging, with the dry aging process, and make the meat extremely tender. I mean, this is like a Wagyu grade piece of meat, yet it's domestic prime. We make burgers last because we want those to be as fresh as possible. So we usually make those around 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. It's the last thing we produce. We have mixes with skirt steaks, hanger steaks, 2-piece chucks, and briskets. And what we do is load them into a rotoclaw machine, which will break them down into fist-sized pieces. So it breaks the meat down, but it keeps the integrity of the muscle. We'll lift it and we'll put it into the grates of this machine, and it'll come out coarser than the second one. What we have is the noodling effect, where you have small pieces of that beef and that fat coming out. It's not mixed at all yet. And that's why we'll then take this and lift this into the second machine. What happens in this machine is that this will mix to get a homogeneous mix of fat and muscle, and then we'll bag it. What we have here is a design textured fill. It fills in the same noodles, and you can see those noodles there. You actually have air and separation in there, so the fat, when cooked, can flow through. This is about as loose as a hamburger as one can make. And that's why we always say we're not grinding the meat, we're chopping it, and our process makes chopped beef, not ground beef. Being in here all night long and working with the guys and getting the product right. Although we have internet access, I'm not on the internet. I'm not able to see, breaking news, and when all these restaurants get their restaurant reviews, they're always right on it. They usually have that information right away because they're constantly checking it. So I got a text on my phone from at a tavern that night. The text read from Riyadh, Nasser, get here immediately. I panicked. I didn't know. I thought maybe the meat wasn't right or there was a problem. I took my coat off. I went running down there, and I walked in and I noticed a bunch of celebrities. Madonna, Gwyneth Paltrow, Sarah Jessica Parker, Matthew Broderick, and there I am in a fleece and jeans. They all came out. Keith McNally, Lee Hansen, Riyadh, and they were, hugging me in the middle of the dining room, and I was like, what happened? They're like, didn't you read Frank Bruni's review? And I said, no, just came from the warehouse. What happened? Did someone die? Is everything okay? And they're like, yeah, we just got named the best steakhouse in Manhattan. So it was like, it was just one of those great moments of my life when everything that we've sacrificed and everything we've done came together all at once.